You wake to the sound of rain on your name day. It beats hard and steady on the dark canopy of trees above you. Your eyes run over it with a deep knowing, intimate as moss against your palms. Today you must climb the tallest tree and bring back an eagle's egg. If the shaman finds even a hairline crack, he will cast ruin onto your bloodline. Just looking at the dark mass of trees, you have already conquered their heights. Will your grip meet the rough bark with the same knowing? Will your knowing lift you high? All your life, where other clansmen have been, hangs about them as naked as the proud stones they carry between their thighs. The hunting party sends the smell of innards when they are still miles from the village. Once, after the swelling sickness carried off a man's son, he went to the forbidden bend in the river. Through your sleep, you could hear him eyeing the stone he would pick up, a small plunk of it in the water, the fearful trot to cover. You know what you haven't seen, like you've lived it. The lives of the clan, even of other clans, perhaps ancestors. These lives burst through the skin that contains yours. You lie beneath the long rain, behind the sound, under it, in it, hard to say which. You hear the gaping mouths of leaves drinking their fill. Your skin swallows what the world is telling you, with the same welcome of leaves drinking rain. For this, everyone fears you, even your father, chief of the clan, a conqueror unlike any before him. He wears a necklace of tongues taken from fallen enemies. You can close your eyes and see him cut out a tongue, the way his smaller sons pluck guava. Sometimes he stares at you, and you can recognize in his eyes a longing for yours. He would pluck them right from your face if he didn't fear that you would grow stronger without them. He has other sons. He could kill you and still have an heir. He is weak. He wants a son weaker than he is, and for that, he is weak. At first light, your father comes to loom over you. He's wearing his necklace of tongues, and the headdress of parrot feathers and snake bones. You've only seen him wear these to celebrate victory in battle. He leans on a staff, and doesn't offer his hand. You rise, and he leads you to a clearing burned out of the forest last night. Every adult in the clan has formed a circle. The ranks part to let the two of you walk to the center. The women begin to sing and move together, circling you. Sitting on a low limb of a tree, one of your younger brothers watches, chewing on the gum of xanthan bark. His jaws grind out his envy in easily seen movements. From a small thatched hut built to house their offerings to you, your father's wife retrieves a shirt of braided vines. She slips it over your neck. Once it's on you, her hands grip at your shoulders from arm's length. You've seen her squeeze the life out of a snake. She passes on none of that strength now. She thinks she can keep it from you. But already you have it. It is yours. She's not your mother. Your mother died. You killed her coming into this world. Your father's wife has had dreams of you falling from a tree that touches the top of the sky. She believes that today her son will become your father's heir. Pull at the shirt to test it. Strong, you tell her. And to the circling women you say, fine work. The men begin stamping their feet. The women stop circling and space out so the men can enter the circle. Each man holds a clod of mud. One by one they step up, a man's length away from you. They lean back on one leg and whip their arm at you, pitching the mud at your loins. The pain is no surprise. There's no escape from it. Waves of heat and nausea roll through you. Let your body take you over. Escape from pain would be like walking between the raindrops. To the man, they give you the best of their arm, and for each man you let the pain take over your body. It releases its grip on your mind. If you return to the village with your egg, your father will remove your loincloth and burn it. After today, you will become a warrior. The last man goes, and you stand heaving. The circle draws in tight around you. Every adult in the village touches you or the body of someone touching you. The touch lasts for 3 breaths. Heat thickens in the closeness of the bodies. The huddle breaks. Your father leads you and 4 men, his best warriors, into the pathless places. From between the chinks of a hut's thatching, a child's eyes peek out at you. Give him your strength. It is an inexhaustible fire. Your father knocks at the base of the tree with his staff to signal that this is the one. You recognize this tree. You've dreamed of it many times. One of its limbs reached down and grabbed you, folded over your body like a fist, crushing you until your skin cracked like an eggshell. This dream and the dream of your father's wife are good omens. When the worst happens in dreams, it cannot happen again in life. Though you've known it since you were a child, your father explains it to you. Bring back from the highest limbs an eagle's egg. Keep it as safe as it would be in its nest. He says all of it without feeling. He knows you will succeed, and he wishes it could be another way. He wants to say more, but you quickly pull yourself onto the lowest limb. It is not long before your father and his men cannot see you. There is still most of the tree above you. The higher you get, the more rooted you feel. Movement runs as fluidly through you as life through this tree. Your breath in carries you higher, brightens the muscles in your arms, feeds them strength. Your breath out buries the expended strength, clears ground for a revived body. All around you, life and death carry out countless exchanges. You can hold on to some of it, but not for long. It spills between your fingers, like a handful of silt from the riverbed. You want everything. You are eager to have your knowing fall over everything and cover it like sheets of rain. You're farther from the roots of the tree, and it shows in your thoughts. The closer to the prize, the farther your mind gets from appreciating its real worth. You're getting ahead of yourself, skipping to future triumphs before you've had this one. Your mind is chattering about what you will do once you're chief, or once you're back in the village, or how after today your arrows will never miss their mark. Stop climbing. Listen. For a time there is only squawking birds and shrieking monkeys. At this height, wind rattles the trees and sets their leaves shivering. The wind picks up and causes shifts in the sound of rain. Do you hear that? Even the rain is unsteady. What use am I to serve, you ask? What more is there to me than doing what I can do? Just because what I can do is rare, am I no less a slave to it than those who can do only what most can do? You keep climbing. If my knowing is a rain covering everything, then the answers to these questions are clouds, are in no way subject to the kinds of questions my knowing could give answers to. You emerge above the canopy. Never in any of your visions have you seen the sky in this way. You've lived your whole life in the shadow of the canopy. You wouldn't even know how to explain this to another clansman. You've always imagined the sky, just as everyone else in the clan does, as a mass of embers burning different colors through the spaces between the trees. The rain pelts you. Your skin runs with streaks of water and mud. On the last limb, before the tuft of leaves crowning the tree, a nest sits. It is the frailest thing you've ever seen. One breath would break it up like a pile of cinders. There are 2 eggs inside. How can I steal from the eagle, you ask, who rules over the above? I am no better than a snake. What does that make my father, who commands this of me? You hug the tree with your legs and remove your shirt. It serves well enough as a net for one of the eggs. The other fits in your mouth behind the teeth. You can still smile. They will want to see that when you reach the ground. Your feet press into moist earth at the base of the tree. Though they wear solemn faces now, you can tell only a moment ago your father and his men must have been playing a game. They look like they've forgotten what they saw above the canopy. Their scrotums have tightened in the rain. The skin looks like bark. Father sees the egg in your shirt and smiles. His pride wins out over his fear. You smile back. Your father and his men conduct you to the shaman's hut. Walking along uneven ground jostles the egg against the roof of your mouth. Your nostrils feel dry, and your mouth is so full of saliva, you have to let it seep out of the corner when no one is looking. Finally, you secure the egg in your loincloth. Your father leaves you at the threshold of the shaman's hut. He tells you to do whatever the shaman says. To do otherwise would bring misfortune. If you trust this man and his counsel, you say, why would you have any reason to fear that I would disobey him? Do whatever he tells you, he repeats. Most men have open doors to their souls. A fire burns before the doorway to this man's soul. The shaman has eyes like lightning and skin like dried mud. Smoke stings the eyes of those who look on him too intently. He holds out his hand for the egg, and you hand him the one snared in your shirt. He digs for something in his wares. Until now, you have not noticed. But when he stands, you see the monstrosity between his legs. Where stones should hang, there is only a withered sack, clinging close to his body. When he turns to face you, he says it surprises him that your visions haven't already shown you his mutilation. Your father wasn't even alive when I climbed the tallest tree. 2 chiefs have reigned and died since then. I was in line to become chief. I am your father's uncle, you see. I was in line. But I had a choice. As he says this, he unwraps a pelt. He flips over the last fold. What's there flashes. Just as you have a choice. Not every son of a chief gets to choose. Your father didn't have a choice. Not that he would have chosen otherwise, if he'd had the choice. But you have a power. We both know you have a power. You thought it was a secret. Not from me. No, I've watched you for a long time, knowing that when this day came, that you would have a choice. Well, this day has come. Now you must choose. He holds up the egg, and the blade shines like water catching sun. You are even able to see into the past, to see visions of chiefs greater than your father, men who had as many warriors and slaves as there are trees, men who scratched at the dirt and found rocks like this blade. If you stay and learn from me, I could take the veil away from your vision, make everything clear. But there is a price. He cuts his forearm with the blade. You know from how gently he ran the blade against his skin that it is sharper than any you've ever handled. He hands it to you. He holds out the egg, shaking it at you. With the other hand now free, he flicks at the shriveled skin between his legs. Do you want to know? Or do you want to conquer? Take the egg to your father, and he will keep it safe, ensuring the eagle's protection over you in battle. And when he dies, you'll become chief. Or you can take the blade, and that, you know what to do with that. Knowing and doing are different, though. They don't have to be. That is part of what I have to show you. But you must first do as I did. You consider what he's offered. What if I do neither, you ask? I will crush the egg and curse your father. He would die within a day. Give me the egg, you say. He looks surprised. This is not how he saw it, and his visions have never failed him. But he hands you the egg. Crush it in your hand, and laugh at the yolk spilling over you. Cut the cinch fastening your loincloth. The last thing he saw must have been the second egg, right before you buried the blade between his widening eyes. The next morning you wake not to rain, but to the sound of wailing women. A snake bit your father in the night, and he is swollen with death at first light. Wearing your father's headdress, you call for the village to circle you. The eagle has failed the clan as protector. My father's death is a sign. The snake will protect the clan from now on. But you must all do as I have done, and swear oaths to him, and to me. For it is only through me that the snake will grant you his protection. The women stop wailing. Your father's wife steps forward to cradle you in her arms. A first death always brings out anger, she says. She has daughters too. Maybe she is hoping for something. Slap her as you've seen your father slap her. I am your chief. This is no petition. This is a calling for oaths. Your father's best warrior throws mud at your naked loins. He says you must have used a trick to get the egg, and the eagle took the chief to punish the clan for your trick. Slice his throat, and the clan will fear you in new ways. Tell them that not only will you be chief, you will also be shaman, and that your blade is not your most dangerous weapon. The first man falls to his knees to swear to you, and the snake, and the rest fall in line. You explain to them how they will find silver in the river. Just last night a vision showed you how. The veil is gone. You're beginning to see everything. Everyone is doing as you command when you go into the pathless place. When you reach the tree, put the second egg in your mouth and begin the climb. The eagle god belongs to you alone. You climb to the nest with your eyes closed. The higher you get, the more certain you are that the splendor of the kingdom you have seen is not a vision of the past, but of the future.